Welcome to Books Made Fun, where we learn English in creative ways with the help of stories.
Let's begin the learning, my learners.
All right, let's set the scene. Our story starts on a beautiful, sunny afternoon in a quiet little village. Let's see what our furry main character is getting into.
So, a very sharp-eyed dog was out scavenging for food. Searching around for anything tasty he could find. And, just by total chance, he happened to stumble upon a huge, juicy bone lying near a butcher shop. Talk about a lucky break.
He was so excited he thought to himself, "Wow, what a delightful discovery. Today, fortune favors me. Luck is definitely on my side. This is nothing short of a feast." He just couldn't believe how lucky he was. So, looking around to make sure no one else was watching, he cautiously snatched up the bone. He decided to make his way somewhere quiet and peaceful so he could enjoy his prize. He was a little worried another dog might see him and try to snatch it away. With his prize held tightly in his mouth, the dog happily trots along, already dreaming about his delicious meal. But a simple little bridge and a trick of the light are about to turn his perfect day completely upside down. Let's see what happens.
Soon he came to a small wooden bridge that went over a stream of crystal clear water. The water was so perfectly still that it acted like a mirror, showing his reflection with astonishing clarity. He happened to glance down, and he just froze. Staring right back at him was another dog, and this other dog had a bone that looked even bigger and juicier than his own. In that moment, he started to look down on his own prize, totally failing to realize he was just looking at himself. His eyes started to play tricks on him. A huge wave of insatiable greed just washed over him, and all he could think was, "I have to get that bone too. I can't let it slip away. I have to seize the opportunity."
And right here, this is the turning point of our story. The dog, completely blinded by his desire for more, is about to make a very, very big mistake.
He decided to go for broke. He opened his mouth as wide as he could to let out a huge, mean-sounding bark. He was hoping to intimidate the other dog into submission so he could snatch that even bigger bone.
And with a mighty growl, he barked, "Drop your bone at once. It belongs to me now."
Splash! The second he opened his mouth, his own precious bone dropped into the water and vanished beneath the rippling surface. And just like that, the other dog disappeared too. The truth of what he'd done hit him like a bolt of lightning. It was sudden and shocking.
He was filled with despair and regret. He whimpered to himself, "What have I done? My greed totally got the better of me. I tried to reach for more than I had, and just like that, I lost everything in a blink."
And as the reality of the situation finally dawned upon him, he walked away from the bridge with a completely crushed spirit. He had definitely learned his lesson the hard way.
Wow, what a powerful story. And just as powerful are the amazing words that brought it to life. So now, let's take a closer look at all that vocabulary so you can start using these fantastic words and phrases in your own conversations. You ready? Let's dive in. First up, from the beginning of the story, we have scavenging. In English, this just means searching for food from things that have been discarded. In Hindi, it's kura kachra channa. It's a verb, and its forms are scavenge, scavenged, scavenged. For example, you could say, "Birds were scavenging for scraps on the beach." Next is the phrasal verb stumble upon, which means to find something completely by chance. In Hindi, that's sanyog se milna. The verb forms are stumble, stumbled, stumbled. An example? While cleaning, I stumbled upon my old photo album. And finally, delightful. This is an adjective that means something is very pleasant or charming. In Hindi, raminiya. The noun form is delight, and the adverb is delightfully. For example, the aroma of freshly baked cookies was a delightful surprise.
Okay, let's look at the words that really set the scene. First, cautiously. This is an adverb, and it means doing something in a very careful way. In Hindi, savdhani se. The noun is caution, and the adjective is cautious. For instance, she cautiously opened the creaky door. Then we have crystal clear, a great adjective that means something is extremely clear. In Hindi, bilkul soft. Just like in our story, the water in the mountain stream was crystal clear. And that brings us to astonishing clarity. Clarity is a noun that means clearness, and astonishing is an adjective for something extremely surprising. So together, it means a surprisingly high level of clearness. In Hindi, Ashtriya Janok Spastata. For example, the clarity of the new TV screen was astonishing.
Now for the words all about that feeling of greed. We have the phrase insatiable greed. This describes a desire for more that can just never be satisfied. Insatiable is the adjective here. In Hindi, atripta lalach. For example, the villain's insatiable greed for power led to his downfall. Next up, the verb intimidate. This means to frighten someone, usually to make them do what you want. In Hindi, that's dharana damkana. The forms are intimidate, intimidated, intimidated, and the noun is intimidation. An example would be, the bully tried to intimidate the younger students. And that often leads to submission, which is a noun meaning the act of accepting someone else's control. In Hindi, adinta, for example, the smaller dog showed submission to the larger one.
And now for the words connected to that sad realization. A rippling surface describes a surface that has small waves on it. In Hindi, leherdar sataha. The verb is ripple, with forms ripple, rippled, rippled. For example, a single stone created a rippling surface on the calm lake. The phrasal verb dawned upon means that an idea was suddenly understood. In Hindi, samajh mein aana. The verb is dawn, dawning, dawned. For instance, the solution to the puzzle finally dawned upon me. Then there's despair, which is a noun for the complete loss of all hope. In Hindi, nirasha. A sentence could be, he was filled with despair when he lost his job. And finally, a crushed spirit. This means to be emotionally broken. In Hindi, tuti hui himmat. For example, after losing the championship, the team walked away with a crushed spirit.
This story was also packed with some really useful phrasal verbs. Let's do a quick review. Make one's way simply means to travel or move towards a particular place. For example, she made her way through the crowded market. Play tricks on means to deceive or fool someone. Like, my little brother loves to play tricks on me. Go for means to try and achieve something. For instance, I'm going to go for that promotion at work. Slip away means to leave or disappear quietly without being noticed. For example, the thief tried to slip away unnoticed. And get the better of, which means for an emotion to overwhelm and control you. A great example is, don't let your anger get the better of you.
And finally, let's look at those idioms that really made the story come alive. To go for broke means to risk absolutely everything in the hopes of a big reward. For example, she decided to go for broke and invest all her savings in the new business. Like a bolt of lightning describes something that happens very suddenly and without any warning. For instance, the news of their arrival came like a bolt of lightning. To learn the hard way means to learn something from a mistake or a bad experience. For example, I learned the hard way that you should always back up your computer files. And lose everything in a blink means to lose it all incredibly quickly. For example, he lost everything in a blink in the stock market crash. Using these will really add some color to your English.
Okay, we have covered so much ground today. You've heard an entire story, and we've broken down all the key vocabulary. Now, it's your turn to put all this new knowledge into practice.
So, here is your creative challenge. It's really simple. First, I want you to choose any 3 words, phrasal verbs, or idioms that we learned today. Second, write your own short, original sentence for each of your 3 choices. And third, please share your sentences in the comment box below. I absolutely cannot wait to see what you all come up with. And hey, if you found this explainer helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to support our channel. It really helps us grow. Thanks so much for learning with me today.